what's of course you will not say are you coming back or not, and we are not there yet, right? But what is the decision-making process in a player that came over from the US? How is the difference between college team and a professional team in Germany?
Yeah.
Do you say if I will be a coach in X years, I want to be college coach, or is it high school, or is it professional basketball?
It's another good question.
Yeah, chill. Herzlich willkommen zur neuen Folge des Uni Baskets Podcast Timeout. Wir sind wieder bei Teamgeist und auch diesmal bedanke ich mich natürlich bei Jumpshot Marketing für diesen super Setup. Heute in einer Special-Version we switch to English because we have Buzz Anthony today with us. Hi, Buzz.
Hello.
So, Buzz, the season is over. First season for you outside the US.
Mm-hmm.
First season outside of the college. So maybe tell us a little bit about your experience over the last, how many months? 9?
Sure. Yeah. It's 9 months. I heard a quote that said just years seem to go by fast, but the days went slow. So I think that's something that we've been saying a lot recently, and can't believe it's over, or this first season is over. I think probably one of the biggest differences was being in college. You're there for year after year. I was there for 5 years. And so, you just had really close friendships. I had guys at my wedding who were my teammates just because you had year after year been friends. And so here it was kind of just meeting everybody for the first time, making friends, learning each other's game on the court. So I think it was just a lot of new territory, which was good for me as a person, growthful. Didn't know much about Germany. So that was all, new as well.
I mean, if you cut it into two pieces, right? One piece for sure is the basketball piece. We will talk about it. Yeah. But the other piece is as well the experience together with your wife to be in a new country, right?
For sure.
So how was the culture change? The language is one thing, but for sure as well the culture. I mean, Germans are different than the US guys.
They are. I think the culture was really interesting. I mean, I think America's known to have a lot of different cultures in it, but Germany is not maybe one of them that I got to experience a ton of. So for us, it was, just exploring Paderborn, and then we got the chance to go to Cologne, to Bochum, just to a couple of different cities, and just even the little things of bringing plastic bottles back to the market to get money back, like learning stuff like that was really. It was really cool learning the phrase "mit Karte bitte." That was crucial. So I didn't have to carry cash all the time, but that was even something different. When Becca first came over for our 1-year wedding anniversary, I took her to this restaurant, and it was on the water, and we were all ready. And then the lady was like, "We're only doing cash," and I didn't have any cash, so I had to go to the market and the ATM to get cash. And so just little stuff like that we joke about now. And
I mean, it happens even to me. Being born here, so a lot of times I don't have cash with me, and suddenly the machine is broken, or they just don't take cards.
Right.
So
makes me feel a little bit better as a husband.
Yes, absolutely. So I think also a little bit of advertisement. You have a vlog, right? That you have on YouTube. So all the experiences in detail. So people can have a look and see your different stories that you have had over the...
Yeah, and that just came out of we had, family and friends that were so excited. We're going, oh, you're going overseas, you're still playing basketball, keep us updated. And we're like, a lot of friends, a lot of people were saying that. So we're like, man, how do we kind of reach everybody? And so that's kind of what we came up with was, hey, let's kind of make a monthly kind of video, put a couple stuff in there, and then send, be like, hey, if you want to spend some time to see what we're doing. So some of it was also what was easiest to just reach back to family and stay connected.
Cool. Yeah. And you also have been in Netherlands, right?
Yep, we did. We took a trip during that spring FIBA break. And really funny, we had a college women's soccer alumni, and small school, but really connected. And they just had reached out and heard we were in Germany, and they offered their place for us to stay, and it was in Eindhoven. So we drove to Eindhoven and then took a train to Amsterdam and explored Eindhoven. So that was great.
So I really think that having your rookie season with your wife is kind of helping a lot, right? You're not alone on the trip. You always have somebody you can talk about this experience.
Yeah.
So if we look this year on the team, we had some kind of young people. If you look to the average age, of course, not the same like in college, I guess, but
right.
Still, you were one of the leaders. How is the difference between college team and a professional team like in Germany?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's one that, I think leadership, like something we would talk about is, you wanna love the guys that you're with, and that love is spelled Time. That it's spelled with time. And I think for me early on, it was like I had such good relationships at home that I was calling guys back home. I'm calling my family, and that was taking up my lunches, time, and stuff. And I really got hit with like, man, if you want to get the most out of this, you got to invest in your teammates and the people here. So it was kind of cutting back the calls, just fully investing in these guys. And after that, you kind of do the hard work of building that relationship, building that friendship, and then the second half of the season, I think I was way more comfortable. That relationship was built. So when it was like, hey, we got to pick it up, or the harder coaching, I feel like, would come in, I think guys knew that it was out of a place of, wanting to win, or they trusted it more. I'd say that's the biggest difference. In college, I kind of had a status or a credibility that people knew I cared, that they knew I just wanted to win, and it wasn't personal, and I could just jump in right away. And here it was like you really had to build those relationships, those friendships, because, I think that's important and the right way to do it.
But is it in the college, was it more regional college? So did you know the people from high school as well already?
No. I know, some schools can recruit like that because college can be cheaper if you're in a state school if you can't get a full scholarship. So some are like that, but ours was a private kind of institution. So we had guys from Georgia, Florida, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, all over.
Right.
So it was meeting them originally. And then, I had my best man at my wedding. We were there for 5 years together.
Right.
So then, you can make some of your best friends.
You can also play better ball if you know each other like 4 or 5 years, right?
And teammates, but also, the coach and the system and stuff. So it was like, me and my coach will joke now, like by the time I was a 5th year starting point guard, I had started every year. I was, almost like an assistant coach and played against some of the same guys in the league for their whole, years coming up. So the scouting reports, all that stuff is almost,
nice.
Kind of second nature. So
if you look to our league this year, right? There are teams like Tübingen that really had the same team more or less like last year, and you could see that they are from the beginning of the season already there where we were later in the season, as you said, because they were already bonded.
Right,
was already a team. So I really think it makes a lot of sense to keep consistency, right?
Yeah, I think it's a really big thing. And I even heard it kind of guys were talking about like when Pro B teams would move up to Pro A and they could, sign a lot of the same guys. Oh, they're going to have success early just because they already had that chemistry.
Agree.
But then as other teams figure it out, then things, start to change. And I believe it. I want to be a coach. So there's a lot of, doing things, building a culture, building a foundation, a team, and all that stuff. So I feel like I have an extra, interest, in all that, wanting to coach in the future.
But if you say you want to coach, is it like, do you have already a plan in mind? Do you say, if I will be a coach in X years, I want to be college coach? Or is it high school, or is it professional basketball?
It's another good question. I think it's something where like my wife and I, like our faith is really important to us. And so we're kind of, we're living life, being guided, being open to what the Spirit has for us. I think I love the intensity of college. You live with each other. It's an everyday kind of thing. And so that was a really special place because I had a great experience. So I think I would love to go back into a similar setting as that and coach there. As far as time, years, I mean, we have no idea. When I was growing up, my parents are coaches and stuff.
Oh, really?
So the dream was always coaching. And then, you know, just through hard work and getting lucky, not having injuries and stuff, the opportunity to continue playing after college came out, and we couldn't pass it up, being married and getting to travel and continue to compete. So.
Absolutely. But your parents on a different sport, right?
Yeah, so my mom was a college volleyball player, and then she coached volleyball, college volleyball. And then my dad played basketball and tennis in college, but he always loved soccer most. So then he got out and coached high school soccer.
Interesting.
So, yep. And then they both started refereeing. So they played, they coached, and refereed. So I was refereeing since I was 13 years old and kind of came up in the family, you know.
What's of course you will not say, are you coming back or not? And we are not there yet, right? But what is the decision-making process in a player that came over from the US after one season? What is triggering the decision for you and your wife?
Yeah, I mean, I think going through like the first year, it's kind of like, hey, we just want an opportunity. We want someone to, you know, take a chance on us, let us prove that, number one, I can play in this league and I can impact winning, and then that, you know, we can have a good experience over here. And so now, I mean, this is even new, like going into this, okay, I kind of know what I can do, what I can bring to a team, value that I can, you know, bring. And so I think it's a cool process that I get to go through with my wife, where it's like we get to bounce ideas off of, we get to, you know, have feedback and make that decision together, which is something that we'll get to do for the rest of our life, you know. So this is learning how we handle this decision is going to learn how we handle future decisions that all come down the road. So I think leaning on mentors is a big thing, leading on people that really know us well and kind of being like, hey, how do you see this? Does this align with who we are? Does this match the kind of people we want to be? And I think that, I mean, that's what's special, or what we want people to know of the Anthony family or me is like, he wasn't chasing fame. He wasn't chasing money. He was here to impact winning, to have deep relationships. And I think that's definitely a pro about, you know, staying in Paderborn would be, we know people, we get to stay another year. We get to, really just have meaningful teammates, meaningful friendships, all of that stuff. But we also know, like, we want to start a family soon. And so there is other pieces that I think, like you said, leaning on people who have been through it before will help speak into us. Yeah. And so, we're just excited for the summer, excited to see what comes.
Yeah. So you will have a lot of talks over the next weeks with family at home, and so very interesting for them too to have an impact in the decision.
And my parents got to come over this year, and Becca's parents and sisters came over. So we're also just lucky that our families are so supportive and even able to travel a little bit. So I think they're living a little bit through us as well, you know, wanting to come travel.
So if you look to what really, or which impact could you give or did you had on young players? Is it something you enjoyed, or tell us, did you have, I mean, Nico told us that you were at 7 o'clock in the morning shooting with him in the Reisman. So what elements did you they see interesting? I mean, and even more now that you say you want to be coach in some time.
That's, right? I mean, that's it. I'll give a quick story. Like, you know, I always wanted to be a coach, and I think it's similar to a jump shot. The more you practice it, the better you get. Just like in the classroom, the same kind of thing. And so it was like, hey, if I want to be a coach, I got to start practicing what a coach does, you know, learning how to teach the game, learning how to encourage players, all these things. And so my first year in college, I finished the season. It's about this time in the spring. And this kid is shooting with his dad in the college gym. And I kind of walked through it, and they kind of acted, you know, a little scared, like, is he going to kick us out? And I just came over and was like, hey, I want to be a coach. You're a young kid. You probably want to get better at basketball. How about I train you? You know, and the dad's like, we don't have a lot of money. And I'm like, hey, like, it's no charge. It's for me to get better at coaching. And And that kind of spurred it on. So then the next 5 years, I was training kids. And by my last year, it was almost 25 to 30 kids from ages 10 to 18. And cool. I just loved it. I loved not only working the basketball side, teaching them, you know, this explosive move or this finishing move, but what comes with sweating together, what comes with being in there time and time again. And yeah, I think that's what I saw. Nico as a guy that was hungry and wanted to get better. I thought about what I did at high school, and I would go in and I would work out before I went to class, and I would quick shower and run to class. And so he was all in for it. So we just kind of got to sharing that together. And after we started doing that, like, you know, it's easier to be like, hey, pick it up today. Like, your relationship becomes tighter.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's better to go through a journey together. So if I had to work out anyways, right, it's better to have a guy in there with you too. So
you also watched the under 16 and the under 19 Bundesliga games, right, of our JBBL and MBBL team, right? If you compare this with the level that you see in high school, in the high school you have been, right?
Yeah.
How would you compare the level or the style of playing? Is it comparable?
That's a good question. I mean, I was actually talking with a teammate about it the other day, because we were talking about a couple of the MBBL players, and we're like, what were we like, you know, at that age? Or I think the basketball like concepts and kind of the way that I see the NBBL team at Paderborn trying to play, I think is way more thoughtful or advanced than what we were doing. But I think we had better players, and they kind of, you know, just, there was a lot of gravity. Like, they just kind of dominated at that level. And so I think that was kind of,
so is it
probably the biggest change.
Individual? So it means that the individual has more impact and it's less the basketball style?
I would say yes, but it's not only like when I hear individual, I think of, one-on-one, like, you know, it's not that they're scoring 40 every night. You know, it's just that they're going to guard the best player, and they're going to, you know, completely take them out of the game. Just I think the level of athlete or competitiveness can be really drastic on, you know, some teams. And then even like where I went to high school, it was private schools, and there was even recruiting for that. So I think there's even different levels in America in high school basketball. One is just, hey, you live here, so you go here, and then you play people that also live here. And then there's like what I did, which was, hey, you live over here, but we really like you. Come to our school, almost like college recruiting or professional recruiting, and play for us. And then you're playing against all other schools that do that. And so that was really high-level basketball. And, I mean, I'd say probably 70 to 80% of your starting five on each team is playing college. Yeah, so.
If you look into the off season, what are the plans? So how can we think about what is the process now over the next 2 months? Yeah, for sure it is traveling back, seeing the family and so on, right? So you will have a lot of meetups, I guess, right? Yeah. With the family.
Definitely that. Yeah, I mean we're sad to go, we're excited to go, kind of that mix of feelings, but. Yeah, I mean, it will probably take about a week or two off of basketball, try to turn off the phones a little bit, and spend some time with Becca's family in Virginia. And it's really cool. A lot of her family is just really close, so it's easy to see everybody. And then my parents live at the beach in North Carolina, so it's a nice excuse to go see them. And so we'll do that for a little bit. And then, again, this is that learning process that I've kind of mentioned a couple of times. I mean, I think I'm a lifelong learner. Like, when I stop approaching life as a learner, then, you know, someone hit me, someone smacked me. Like, that's not who I want to be. So I think this year, again, is leaning on guys who have done it before, mentors in my life. And, hey, you know, how did you structure your summer? How did you handle resting? Because it's a long 9 months over here, but also developing so you can come back a better player. And I think that's the process, and so I'm mixing that in, and then I'm also still practicing coaching. There's connections and kind of networking involved in that, so I'm going to work some summer camps. It's kind of a great way to do that, where you get to you get to go to the colleges, you get to spend, 9 to 5 interacting, and then also, we'll make a little bit of money in the summer doing that. Because if you work the camp, then you kind of get paid for helping out.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's kind of the family time, individual like skill development, better player for coming back next year, and then kind of working camps and staying connected with coaching tree and networking and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. Is there anything you would like to say to the Paderborn people before flying back?
Yes, I actually have one thing. So as you mentioned, Nico, he's been our guy this year. And so I know he's got a couple more years in Paderborn. So I just wanted everyone in Paderborn to know that his nickname that we all have called him by this year, and I want to hear it being chanted in the Mossburn, is Freako. All right. So we want him to be known as Freako. So you can go with however you want that to mean or whatever you want it to be. But I would hope that,
First question would be, does he like it?
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah?
He loves it.
I will ask him anyhow, right?
He loves Freako. And, I mean, when you're the rookie on the team, it doesn't really matter if you like it.
That's
it's
right.
going to stick.
That's right.
But
great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Buzz. I think we will miss you over the next weeks. We will miss the basketball over the next weeks and months. So we will sadly watch now the other playoff games a little bit through the live stream. Let's see what they do. Rest a bit and then start the back office work, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Sounds good.
Was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Awesome.